Hello everyone. I'll try, as they say, straight off the bat, clearly and to the point. I'm a guy, I'm 20 years old. I had a relationship once, it was healthy, but that's another story. Now I don't have anyone, not even in mind. I may be outdated, although I understand this completely. But hasn't the so-called relationship market become strangely overloaded in the last 5 to 6 years? In the sense that people want something extraordinary from the start, without showing any interest in it. I'll say right away, these are exclusively my observations as a guy, but you can also share, what is your experience and view on the following questions. NB, by the term, from my circle, I will mean both my current circle and people of the same age, who are mentioned in my post with whom I have communicated over the past approximately 2 years. Having finished the post, I think it is necessary to add, this is my personal point of view, which is based on my experience and observations. I am happy with any, even negative, response and fierce criticism. But only if they are justified and consistent in their judgments. I, in turn, will try to adhere to the same. Let's go. 1. Get the girl interested. Yes, I understand that superficial questions like, how are you, or, what did you do today, and others like that look uninteresting, unoriginal, and generally repulsive, but this is a routine that you will have to face in a relationship every day, isn't it? And most of my most interesting, deep and sincere conversations began with just such a trifle. I or my interlocutor shared something every day, or simply asked. And the dialogue went on, you can't stop. But in my experience, for many girls this is already an automatic red flag. I agree that asking such a question every time and every day is absolutely not interesting, but when meeting, in the first days weeks of communication, and in general 1 to 2 times a week, I consider it absolutely normal. Maybe I don't understand something, but then what will be new, interesting, and not stuffy every time? 2. Paying bills. I am a college student, and the vast majority of people around me are girls my age. And when talking to them, almost everyone says that, if a guy on a first date offers to split the bill for each other, I will pay, but I will not go on any more dates with him. Or even better, that the guy should pay for both. What is the true root, the essence of this? Personally, I am of the opinion that this is necessary for both, and hence this thing is either discussed before the date, but how? If many will immediately send you to the ignore list or friend zone after this, or it should be some kind of unspoken rule that everyone pays for themselves, unless otherwise agreed upon in advance. 3. Lack of adequate places, services, etc. for meeting people. Dating apps? From my feelings, and from the stories of 1 to 2 girls who were there are only perverts, guys from the neighborhood, and other choice trash. And the girls get so many likes that you don't even have time to write to everyone. And trying to stand out among hundreds of the same, even with my rather distinctive appearance, is a dead end. Shopping malls? Often you look at girls there, and either they are sitting with guys, a bunch of girlfriends there, or they are obviously schoolgirls. Or they have such an expression on their faces and look that they are definitely not up to dating and have enough problems. I think it is worth mentioning in advance, I am not picky about appearance, my main criteria are a healthy appearance, i.e. basic hygiene, no greasy head, no smell of unbrushed teeth for half a kilometer, not extreme weights and no problems with movement. Street? Either a repetition of the point about the shopping center, with the addition of the point, running, it's obvious that she's in a hurry somewhere and she doesn't care. Or even worse, she'll think that you're following her, harassing her, a rapist, maniac, murderer, etc. Of the working options on my mind, either a place of study, or trying to catch a random lucky situation for meeting someone in life. Well, now there will be things for which, in my opinion, I can be cancelled and torn to pieces, but I still ask all interested parties to answer as adequately as possible. Try to understand and write why you think so reasonably. I, in turn, will try to do the same. 4. Age. About 90% of the girls around me say the same thing. They want their boyfriend to be older than them, and not just by half a year or a year, but really older, 4 to 5 years or more. And as a cherry on the cake, I heard one story about a 20-year-old friend married to a 35-year-old man, and that it was all for love. The most healthy and normal relationship, of course. I tactfully kept quiet, but inside I immediately thought that this was the ultimately unhealthy and abnormal crap. To the questions, why don't you want to date someone the same age? I get answers like this, excuse me, but it's as if it's factory firmware. They are like children. They don't know how to take responsibility, and sometimes the same thing in creative variations. But my male friends, on the contrary, for some reason want a girl younger than them, but, of course, in my circle there are no people with such extreme desires as 15 years younger. Personally, I don't understand why it's a red flag to date or even consider a relationship with a guy who is older, younger than you, if it's within the law. Well, for dessert, something that will probably cause a couple of burnt chairs, but I will justify my position. 5. Marriage. This point indirectly concerns relationships, but is often an integral part of them, and often the conversation about views on marriage arises in the first days or weeks of communication. I have nothing against marriage. But when doing anything I ask myself, why? I do not want to unfairly divide the property acquired during marriage. I am for each person in case of divorce to receive what he earned himself, or received as a gift, and not to divide exactly in half all the property acquired during marriage, by the way. In some situations the property was acquired before marriage, but brings income during marriage. Yes. They say there is a marriage contract, but judging by what some commentators write on the internet, it is a worthless document, which a competent lawyer does not care about. And many girls from my circle, upon hearing this phrase, immediately make it clear that this is a huge red flag. You won't be able to visit your spouse in the hospital. Can't you issue a power of attorney? Marriage is responsibility. Okay, but it doesn't oblige you to anything, as far as I know. Marriage is true feelings. Seeth point about marriage is responsibility. Quote, there are fewer problems with some documents, but here, as they say, it's a completely different story. I would like to hear the true advantages of marriage, but, unfortunately, I haven't heard them yet. Maybe you can name them and justify them? Why did I write about this? In my experience, the situation with point 2. Paying bills is repeated. If you tell a girl what I wrote about marriage above, then you automatically red flag. Conclusion. Yes, I know that there are girls who have the same opinion as me on all these points, but personally, unfortunately, I have not met such people yet. What is the purpose of this post? From the guy's side, to find out your opinion and your point of view on each of these 5 points, or on all 5 at once, whoever has enough interest and perseverance to write a comment. From the girl's side, confirm or disprove my observations. Try to understand the real reason why most girls say exactly these things in exactly this way, since it is problematic for me to understand this. Despite the fact that quite similar things are thought and said by completely different girls, of different origins, upbringing and worldviews. For everyone, to become better, more knowledgeable, and to learn different points of view. But you can feel free to write your opinion and your guesses, regardless of whether you are a guy or a girl. Regardless of age, I will be glad to receive any reasoned and consistent in your judgments comment.